Hello and welcome everybody. This is the very late edition of the Electric Digest. I'm glad you're all here. My name's TooDank and this is Still Electric.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, you guys have no idea the stuff that goes down in the background. And so please excuse the lateness, but I promise you we'll give you a good show like usual because we're awesome people.
So, as you may have, some of you may know already, we're here to promote match analysis as well as promoting healthy discussion around Tekken and trying to help each other improve. Right now, we're giving us focus on the BostonTekken community. It's probably how it's going to be for a while. Speaking of the BostonTekken community, today what we have in store for you is going to be some viewer-submitted match analysis. We have three of our players have uploaded some matches for us to give them 2 matches each that we're going to analyze.
Yep.
Hopefully they're in the chat. We'll have an engaging discussion. If not, we'll just do like a straight-up review, and they'll check the VOD after. They give some notes, too, about specific things they want us to look out for, so we're just going to go basically right into it. I believe we had up first was, let me double-check these notes real quick, because I'm always prepared. Hold on.
What's up,
I know
chat?
we have.
What's up, chat? I hope you guys are doing good today.
Yeah, we also actually have chat up this time. We're going to talk with chat and stuff. We're not going to ignore you, even though I probably should. This dude.
I got my nephew is here, and for those who have known me for a while, you've probably seen this kid grow from like a little toddler to a 9-year-old where he is today. But he's always at every session, especially when I was at the house in Hyde Park up in the attic.
Yep.
And I know you guys used to come to those sessions a lot too, so he hit me up today and said he wanted to play some Tekken, so I told him to come by. So I might have a little prodigy to take the reins, you know?
Yep.
We'll see.
So up first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Montel Chilliams. He wanted us to review his set with Chenzo, and he gave us
too low.
volume too low. Oh my!
I'm working on it.
He's
All right,
working. We're working on it. We're working.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doc. What was I saying? All right, so yeah, Montel Chilliams is gonna be up first. He is our local king player.
Sir.
It was in a mirror with Chenzo. He wants us
Awesome.
to review that.
100%.
We got a note here that specifically says advice on how to close out contested sets. I think it's a very good specific question that is actually something a lot of people deal with. So I think it's going to be a good set to review for sure. How's the audio? Are we ready to go on that, or do you want us to like do a live mic test? Because this is a scuffed stream and all.
Yeah, but we're making it work, man, and it's great. And yeah, Ruben, I think we're talking about as in like closing out sets.
Yeah, closing out the sets, basically meaning like when you have the life lead, or if it's like closely contested set, like if it's 2-2, it's like how do you take the lead and actually win with it? Because sometimes that's really hard to do, especially when a lot of people are playing mostly risk averted, right? Or risk aversion is in mind when they're playing with the life lead because they don't want to just throw it away.
Right.
It's very easy to throw it away in this game, especially with how strong low parries are, how strong stand blocking can be itself, right? Because people are always going for mid checks in
And
order
raise drives.
Raise
There's
drives.
a lot of comeback factors in this game now, and so playing defense for a very long time can sometimes be to your detriment.
Yes. And Ling Massacre is desperately awaiting my perspective on this because he knows it's a problem I had for years.
Oh, man,
I'm
he
still
loves
working,
it.
still working on it.
He
Still
loves-
working on
he
it.
loves bringing up that set we had.
I know it was a good set, but I mean it wasn't just that one set. That's like a problem I've always faced.
Oh yeah.
The one thing that's always stuck with me was that Nick DeJesus once said, "I am the best player he's never seen win."
That's actually really good. Why does he always have like memorable sayings, bro? Nick, bro, you always have something memorable to say, bro.
All right, so let's just get right into it then, since we already have it on screen. This is going to be these 2 matches that he gave us are both pretty far apart, so some context might be missing about the conditioning and stuff, but I think what he wants us to specifically look at anyway is about how to close out the match when you have the lead. So we're with that in mind, we're still just going to look at everything, and take our time with it, yell at Mason when we wanted to pause it.
Yeah, definitely. And
So right there, no throw break. That's a common thing in the King mirror. They both know their weaknesses.
yeah, you're like, you guys play King? Y'all don't break throws. But that throw was the muscle buster, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah. Which is a 1+2 break.
So I like the movement at the beginning. If you want to go back, that was a really quick round that we can actually kind of analyze a bunch of stuff from right from the start. So at the start, you had some really good movement, really good spacing. Chenzo does that a lot. As opposed to backdashing, he's going to do Jaguar step. And I think that's something you really should be exploiting with your further range pokes like forward 1 or the running knee. You did really good to get out of the unblockable scenario there. But then here, you just got kind of poked out. And I think it's because you were already losing to throws, right? So you were kind of just hard ducking. And then there's the low poke to get it out. So for him, I think like he showed a really good, if you want to pause it really quick or just go back like 10 seconds, I think Chenzo actually here showed a really good way of how to close out a match. If you go back here, he conditioned you a lot with mids to specifically get you to do something. That something was not block the winning low, basically.
Yeah.
That's what conditioning's all about, is that scenario at the end of the match where you have to pick. Something is going to kill you, and you have to pick which one it's going to be. You can't block everything in this game. Whereas, like, when you have the full life lead and you get put in a 50-50 scenario, if it's going to be mid or low, it doesn't really matter as much. You'd be like, fuck it, I'm not going to block the low. It doesn't do much damage. The mid's going to hurt, right? But when they're both going to kill, you have to guess.
You do have to guess. Yeah, it's true. And, you saw it. He did 2-1, 2-1, and it has a lot of good frames on it now as well. But he pretty much conditioned you to stand and then finish you off with a quick low.
Yeah. So let's rewind back to this round and let's see how this went, especially since Montel got the win. I want to see what he did right. I don't want to just talk shit. I want to praise all the things you're doing right as well. Am I the only king player that breaks throws? Tired of this myth? Bro, you're going to have to prove it to me.
All right, so that's a good combo he got. I think it was a whiffed back 1, and he went in with a full crouch down 4-2, got a nice combo, took him to the wall.
Nice counter hit. That 4-4 neutral 1+2 is basically like everything that king surrounds his game plan with.
Yeah, it's actually a really, really good move. Fighting you, Montel, I realized how good that move was, so thank you. I hate you.
Yeah, I really like his poke game. Good punishment, good setup afterwards on the rage drive. See that after that punish is so plus. That is a really, really important and right here you're just showing again an important way that you close out the round. You were able to realize that 2-1 is plus enough that they can't do shit. That shit's like +7 or +8 or something. They really can't do anything.
Yep.
And as another king player, he knows that he's going to keep blocking.
Yep.
But let's say it wasn't a king player and you had already conditioned a player to block after 2-1. That rage drive is such a good option because one, it's going to frame trap most things, and it's going to also give you that guaranteed 50-50 afterwards. That guaranteed 50-50 afterwards is exactly what you needed to close out the round because he didn't break the throw. The throw attempt was basically all but guaranteed. They could still break it, but that's on the opponent to do.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, you played that set really well.
Is it possible to backdash out of throw range after blocking rage drive? I don't think so. I think they're 2+. But I could be wrong. I haven't tested that in a while.
I think that I feel like it is. I think you can. I want to say that I think you can, but maybe you. How plus? I actually don't know this, but how plus is King's rage drive?
I'm sure Effect knows. Effect knows.
How plus is his rage drive?
Yeah, here he actually just said no. Maybe not Giant Swing. Maybe Zafina can. Yeah, these are all great points. Something we should probably test.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is watching this video, look at that. We're already 2 rounds in and you got something you can test. You got 2 to 3 amazing, like, not amazing, the concept of, like, things you could look into and improve on or things you could look into and continue to, like, this worked out. I'm going to keep doing that. We're already getting so much information. And it's really, that's what match analysis isn't that hard and you get so much from it.
Yeah, you really do.
Mac decisive right into Duck is an OS after King's Rage Drive. Yeah, that's something like that is good if you're trying to beat like everything, but it's still really hard. The timing has to be perfect. And online for something like that, when you're talking about I'm -8 and I got a sidestep right Duck to beat everything, it's hard.
Yeah. You actually don't even want to move after -8.
+9 he said. Effect said it's +9, he has to check. That's crazy. +9 is literally like you can't even rage art.
Yeah. +9 is like, all right, let me just leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
So if you're dealing with, and that's the thing is like it's all about the conditioning that you're able to apply. And in that situation, he probably wasn't ready for the throw. Maybe next time he will be ready for the throw. So you hold that in the back of your pocket next time you get that same situation. Because the same situations do happen all the time. You're going to get rage. You're going to use your rage drive. He's going to block it again.
Wow, look at that.
Really
and
good
so listen, Montel, I got to say, I had the honor to play you yesterday for at least a solid 2 hours. and your neutral game has greatly improved.
Absolutely.
Like just the way that you're poking with jabs, with down forward 2, with 2-1 is super impressive, and it's showing in that last match that we just watched.
Absolutely. Weaving a lot of throws in between everything as well. It makes it so that they don't know whether they want to take their turn back with a button or keep moving, perhaps duck. Like, because sometimes it is good to duck versus King if you really, really have a good read on their throw timing and you are able to duck and while standing launch punish it. That's huge reward from it, right? And King has to do stuff like that. A lot of down forward 1 and down forward 2 spam in order to keep you conditioned into not doing that.
Yeah,
the reason King wants you to stand up is because that's when the throws are going to land.
Yeah, and the way you use jabs, like you were so stubborn with your one jab, even after he kind of challenged you, you still stuck with your one jab. You, if you're watching, you've been literally like before this throw, you were jabbing. This misses, something else happens, you miss this, but then it's straight jabs from here. Jab.
Yeah. Not being deterred from a game plan is always very important too. Just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it was a bad idea, you know?
Beautiful. And it's good because you're plus after jabs on block, and so you can kind of like control the pace though.
Yeah, jabs are really good for when you want to start to play that fast-paced, fast decision-making style, because right off the bat, you have so many options you can do. Like King, just off the top of my head, I can think he can do throw after jab, he can do another jab, he can do down forward 1, he can do down forward 2, and those 2 moves are picking which side he wants to catch on stepping. He can do a generic down 4, he can do down 3. So that's 5 options right there that you have after just a single jab. And remember, the recovery is very fast for both players. So this decision-making that you're forcing is very fast, very fast. And when you're doing that to an opponent who's not exactly ready to defend against it, that's where the mix-ups really happen and come into play, because you want to force mistakes out of your opponent.
I like what you did. If we can go back to the beginning of this match, I like that you did go forward a little bit after. Oh, you can stay right here.
No! Dude, we have to watch this Twitch ad. Guys, while we're here, don't forget to Twitch. Just kidding. I don't even think you have a subscribe button. So yeah, let me just hold up. The AMD Ryzen 5000 series is out. It's probably way too expensive for you guys.
Look at this dude out here. He is taking the best shower. Plant-based soap now. Wow,
that's pretty good. I have to use it 'cause I got sensitive skin.
That looks good.
I got babies. That's eucalyptus oil.
Eucalyptus oil? Bro.
We should get sponsored and run an ad.
We should absolutely get sponsored. We do such a great job promoting. It'd be
King
great.
has jabs where you gain range for holding forward along with the jab. Yeah, that is actually like some secret ass tech that I'm pretty sure is universal. It's not just for King.
Yeah, it's definitely a universal thing for sure. Like, you don't really notice it, but you do get a lot more range for jabs. But I think in general too, King has a pretty good jab.
Yeah, his jab and recovery is very good, and he also moves forward a little bit when he does it.
This is what I was talking about. So he did 2-1, 2-1, and then backed off, and I really appreciated that. And then what Chenzo tried to do was he tried to down jab, and then from his down jab, he just transitioned to a down 4-2. If you had stayed solid there, you would have been able to punish that full crouch down 4-2. And you would have got, like, a back 1-2 or whatever. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, playing like this and baiting out that... Because I feel like I want to assume that was a dash guard that you just messed up. Because if that was a dash guard, that's a phenomenal idea. Because you were doing something that was forcing him, right? Conditioning is about forcing the opponent to do something. And in that situation, he was feeling compelled to duck the 2-1 series stuff and try to interrupt with full crouch down forward 2. If you had done a dash block, you would have blocked and punished with back 1-2, or I think that's launch punishable, isn't it? I'm not sure.
It's -14.
-14. So you would have done back 1-2, and it would have been a decent chunk of damage, and then plus frame Oki, because that's also like +6 or +7 or something like that.
Or if you anticipate this, the reason why I'm highlighting this is because you'll end up in this scenario again. You're gonna do 2-1, 2-1, and someone's gonna try to down jab you to interrupt. Next time you backdash and you go immediately into hop kick. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you need to think about your whiff punish because someone is trying to interrupt you. Pay attention to things like that because it's really important.
So this round, let's go back and really try to pay attention to the way it ends, because that's the whole point, is he wants to know about how to close out this set. So let's see where he lost his ways. So I like the movement. The spacing is really good. Both you guys are basically trying to play King's preferred range, which would be that middle range of forward 1. Because if they try to backdash, it turns into the tip range of forward 1.
Yeah, and I love where Montel is right now on the map. like literally like that 1.5 range, and he kind of just stays there. Nice break.
Tries to throw again. Could have launched him there, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I think what happened here is you were literally playing. That was not the same Montel that we saw in the first 4 rounds of that match. Straight up. That's what I can tell you. But what do I mean when I'm saying that is you were playing very hesitant, and when it came to the conditioning you were applying, you weren't confident in it. You had ducked that throw knowing he was going to throw, but you weren't ready to whiff punish it. And every time you do something like that, when you backdash, when you sidestep, when you whiff punish, when you sidestep, backdash, duck, and whatever you're doing, it's for a reason, right? You want to do everything for a reason. If you duck, it's because you think he's going to throw. If you think he's going to throw and you're going to duck, you be ready to whiff punish with your fastest launcher. You have to be. Because pure reactions are not perfect, first of all. Because the human brain has to take time to process what's happening and then send the reaction to your fingers to do the whiff punish, right? Be ready. Like, your finger is basically already on down forward 2 and you're ready to do something with that, right? On top of the fact that a lot of moves in this game have pretty good whiff recovery, right? So you got to be on the ball when it comes to whiff punishing it.
Yeah, I also want to say that after he punished you with back 1-2, you got like counter hit pushed. And so that tells me that you pressed something. And I feel like after getting hit with back 1-2, you should have guarded. So I don't know what you were trying to do at that moment. But maybe it seemed like you guys were kind of scrambling towards the end here. And he just happened to get away with the right moves. You scramble, 4-2-1, knee.
Load the muscle memory and condition. Exactly. I like the way Ling Massacre puts that. Because the big part, it's reactions to me. I was explaining this to some people before, and I feel like I understand it better now than I used to, which is like when it comes to whiff punishment and reactions, like it's really not raw reactions. A big part of it is expecting the situation to happen to begin with.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about Tekken is you have 4 rounds to lose, technically. Well, there's 4 rounds to play with before it really matters, right?
Yeah.
And in those 4 rounds, as all information, right? You take risks to apply conditioning, and whether or not the conditioning works is information. And you take that moving forward. You have to remember everything the opponent did, everything that you did, and pay attention to, like, if they reacted some way, it's for a reason. They do everything you do is for a reason. Of course, everything the opponent's going to do for a reason. You have to give them that respect. It's a human on the other side of the screen.
You know how to respect humans. Stop it. All right, sweet.
So this is the other match he sent us, right?
Ooh, we know this guy.
I do know this guy. This is our resident Heihachi and Jin main Danny B. This is the second match, right, Mason?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So this one's going to be a
Shout
totally
out to
different...
Mason in the background, man. That man is working magic back there.
So, yes, Danny B is... Oh, we lost the stream. We can't see shit. Hold on. You guys can still see it, but... Do you know how to set it back up, Mason? I can... Sorry. Our perspective of the stream is gone. Just give us just a second.
What up,
So,
GK? What up? Good to see you, bro.
While we're waiting, let's talk about the characters. This is a matchup where I would be jabbing like crazy. I would jab a lot, and I would also use generic down 4 a lot as a high crush, because you want moves that are going to be good enough for interrupting Heihachi's fast pressure and not that high of a risk.
Agreed. I absolutely agreed. I think that's a good way to approach Mishima. I know that it can be a little scary sometimes, though, because you think about electrics, you see him going under highs so many times. But to be honest, the jab really interrupts the crouch dash motion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really a good idea. And to be honest, down 4, generic down 4 is probably even better.
It's so much better because
Yeah.
you're if they want to play the game of like jab down forward 1, there's a lot of scenarios where a generic down forward 1 is going to at worst trade or at best beat the things that they're going for, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's also the option of it beating stepping for when Heihachi all Mishimas like to step and move around a lot.
Yeah.
And then there also is the plus of beating straight up random electrics, because electrics are very, very good as a zoning tool.
Oh yeah.
Especially after they they buffed the recovery on it on whiff by 3 frames.
Yeah.
So right now it's like one of the best zoning tools in the game. There's literally nothing wrong with just throwing it out there.
Absolutely not.
Oh, we lost the stream.
I'm learning that.
Hold on. I think I did it
did it through Twitch.
It's fake. It's
Yeah,
fake,
no,
baby
you gotta
Jason.
hold
It's
on.
fake.
Sorry. 1 second, boys.
Can we talk about Zach's curly hair, bro? Do you guys see how beautiful that man's hair is today? Seriously, he walked in looking hella luscious, bro. Kid, what are you doing? You're not talking to the Twitch.
Hey guys, but I'm good at Tekken. Not that good.
This dude just wants to be on TV,
Thanks for
bro.
covering for me, bro.
Thanks, Christian.
All right, so knowing all that about the matchup, let's see how it plays out.
Did this happen recently?
Luscious Fox, thank you, boys. Did this happen recently? I believe he streamed this on Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome.
All right, rewind it. I'm seeing some pain being put on right now.
Wait a minute. I got something to say. Montel, again, I'm going to praise you a little bit. And it's because you are not afraid to play anyone. No, seriously. And I think that this needs to be stated. Like, you guys are so lucky, number one, that you're a part of like a scene that is so collaborative. And I feel like there's a lot of places that don't have players to play with, especially offline, but even online. And I love to see Montel because this kid is relentless. He doesn't care if someone 10-0s him. He's going to keep coming for more. And I'm starting to see his improvements because of that. Same thing with Malik and a lot of other you folks. But like, don't be afraid to ask for games. Always reach out. Like, we're a family here. And yeah, I'm shouting out Montel in particular because he's here fighting Danny B, who's a scary dude to fight. Yesterday, he played me for like a solid 2 hours. I asked him for games. Never hesitated. He was like, let's go. Invite sent in like literally 2 minutes. And we were going at it. And it was so good. Like, he did well.
Yeah, I've always called Montel the warrior of our scene because that's kind of how he has gone through his journey of Tekken, a little bit of brute force and not too much of the studiest guy, but that's why he's here, right? We're all here to learn a little bit more, get a little bit deep in the Tekken. I don't think you don't really have to think that hard. We're not here to do like philosophy. Yeah. Right now, we're here to just break down the basics at its core, really. Yeah. That's what this is all going to be about. Because for me, when I'm trying to get good, every single time I hit a wall in my game plan, it always comes back to the fundamentals and ironing that stuff out. And stuff like this, just taking some time to look at your gameplay, I want to make it so that you guys are able to go back on your own and look at it. You don't need us. You're going to go back on your own and you're going to be like, oh, shit, I'm seeing all this stuff I can do differently. I'm seeing this thing I can practice. I was letting go of some punishment here. I can do that. Like, that's what we want to see at the end of the day, is that you become more of a self-sufficient player. Because then you can just play people and you're leveling up even more, right? Because that's what Montel's done, is he's just like kind of grinding. He's naturally become such a good player through a lot of trial and error, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because when you have someone who's like purely a lab rat, they forget about the human element. Yeah. Whereas like Montel is someone who's already honed that aspect a lot, playing a lot of people.
Yeah, the bad guy would be very proud of you, man. I'm glad that you are the way you are, because I feel like he was kind of like that too. Like, that dude was always looking for games, didn't care who you were. If he fought me, he's like, I'm gonna destroy you. If he fought Nick, he's like, I'm going to destroy you. And he always kept that attitude. So props to you, bro, big time. Keep doing what you do.
All right. Anyway, enough sucking dick. Let's get into the match.
All right, so
you're kind of getting smoked already here. Gets hit by the full crouch sweep. Guaranteed forward 4-2. Another forward 2.
Yeah. So a thing about Mr. B-Boy is that he just goes in. I really respect how confident he plays in general. Yeah. Like, he is not a scaredy cat. He doesn't care what you know about Heihachi. He is literally going to maul you. Yeah. And if you can't keep up with that train, you're going to get run over.
Absolutely. And my favorite part about his playstyle actually is the way it's kind of a little bit devious, right? Most people, if you ask them what kind of a player Danny B is, they'll always say he's a very aggressive 50-50 style type of player. But then when you really, really analyze his game plan and you understand what he's doing, you actually see he's weaving defense mostly into everything he's doing. When he's forcing a 50-50 on you, chances are it's a hard guess, right? And if he's seems like he's putting on a lot of mix-ups on you, a lot of times he's forcing you to make a mistake. Press a button where you don't want to, move around in a way you don't want to, and put yourself in a bad position. Everything he does is very, very calculated, and I like that about him as a player.
I don't like that you won that, Montel.
That's
what I don't like. That damn rage drive
It's
literally is so good.
That rage drive literally makes players. It's good.
Look at this weird angle you got. You jabbed and still got a rage drive.
In fact,
big
I'm
chunks
pretty
of
sure
damage.
if he had done like a deep sidewalk left and scooped him off the wall with like down forward 4-3,
Yeah.
he could have gone an even bigger combo into the rage drive or into just rage art.
But he didn't even do all of that.
He
And
didn't
you know
do
what?
all
He
that.
went for a solid mid after, just in case something crazy happened. All right, so good stuff.
So he takes the first round. Let's see where it goes from here. The Heihachi customs are always so distracting with Danny B.
Yeah, he's a creative. He's a creative.
My favorite's the one with the pink BDSM straps and the
Oh,
knuckles.
yeah.
That one's a good classic.
All right, so nice. I like where you are again, Montel. Like I really like how you just like kind of embrace the 1.5 range, and you get counter hit here, and you may get close to the wall.
So I know we're kind of already up ahead, but Sandwich brings up a great point. If we want to go back to when that first round when Sandwich got launched by the forward 2. So he said the only mistake to point out is that one random duck at the beginning of the round, but he was expecting electric, and that's fine. I want to talk about why it's not fine, because that's actually a great point that you brought up, and I completely missed it. So when he gets put into this 50-50, well, it's actually a guaranteed scenario at first, right? Heihachi's going to get the full crouch down forward 4, and the forward 2 attempt afterwards is all but guaranteed, basically. There's only rare scenarios where you can get out of it, like strange angles and stuff like that. But obviously the 4-4-2 is guaranteed. And then afterwards, he does 4-4-2 again in an attempt to mix you up. And you thought it was going to be an electric, and you ducked. Now, here's why that's a bad thing. Because if you were to stand and block the electric, what happens after? Nothing. Nothing happens. But you ducked and you got hit by the 4-4-2, and you lost your whole life bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes, even though, like, you know, being put in that plus on block scenario because the electric puts Mishima's at the perfect spacing, +5, it's scary, but it's less risk than taking that 4-4-2 on hit. And that's a big part of playing risk versus reward, especially since this is first round. There's no way you had data on how he was going to electric or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a hard read without any data and too much risk.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest, it was like, it's not like this character has a hell sweep that you really have to be super concerned about. And so like ducking against Heihachi is not a great idea.
The only thing I can say you would want to duck preemptively forward would be down back 2, right? But one, that should be reactable, semi-reactable. Everybody's different when it comes to that frame data. And 2, the risk is nowhere near the 4-4-2.
Oh, yeah.
The down back 2 would have done 25% of the damage that 4-4-2 did.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to mids, as far as the Mishimas are concerned,
Specifically Heihachi.
Heihachi excels, without a doubt. Forward 3 and forward 2, all of these amazing chunky mids that do great damage and are relatively safe.
Yep. Absolutely. So, but I mean, that's pretty much the biggest scrap I can take. And even then, right, you still won the round because Danny B was making his own mistakes as well. But that's what this game's all about. It really, at the end of the day, is creating opportunities to exploit your opponent's mistakes.
All right, so he catches the counter hit here. And I'm sure he's going to try to push towards the wall. And there he goes. Hits you with the electric to the wall. It's a nice combo. Don't move. Spring kicks.
Nice. Caught him ducking.
Caught him ducking. I mean,
lots
I
of
know.
raw ducking.
I know.
I feel like you shouldn't have won that one either, right?
Yeah. That's weird. Yeah, it looked like Danny B again had the momentum, and you did. He was all over you, so you were kind of right to do the spring kick here, and you caught him off guard. And then I don't know why he hard ducked, but
I think it was another case of expecting the low that just one isn't enough. And now we're evaluating Danny B, and it doesn't really matter. But in this instance, he was probably expecting the drop kick low from back turn.
And
it's like you should be able to react to that. It's not something, especially at that life. He didn't need to take that risk.
Yeah,
at that life, no low and no throw was going to kill him.
I'm expecting. Well, no, he would have died from a throw.
From a throw? What throw would he have from back turn?
Well, let's see this. Let's see his life bar one more time.
His life bar was like 30 to 35%. It was just outside of rage, I think, or just in it. And
No, he
was
died
just
here.
in it. Because he had to turn around and do that. If he was going to turn around and throw, he would have reacted at that point, or at least should be.
But you gotta expect, as the person fighting against a king player, that they are not going to die unless they use that rage drive.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, yeah.
and Montel in particular will not die with a loaded gun.
True.
He is going to use that rage drive.
Yeah.
For sure. So
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that's the thing. We're evaluating Danny B now, and it doesn't really matter because now we're just getting into the philosophy of risk versus reward in this one contextual situation.
Well,
It's not really worth it.
we might be getting into the meat and potatoes, right? Because I think the reason he must have lost the set.
Yeah, because the big whole reason he uploaded it was about closing out the set. So
Yeah.
let's see what he did to lose this two round lead, which is always painful.
So what happens is like in a scenario like this, a player like me or a player like Danny B, they're gonna absolutely tighten up, or play way more aggressive. And so it's looking like Danny B played a lot that round a lot more aggressive, but he also played super tight.
So
Look at
when
that
you
step.
say super tight, I think I have an idea of what you mean. But could you explain what you mean with that?
So when I say super tight, I mean like he is using a lot of moves that are super light on frame, like on recovery, like they're pretty safe, and then kind of using that for his advantage to punish. So like he did in the very beginning, we have to go back to see, but he did a move that was super light, stepped. What's that? That must have been down forward 1-1
step, and then just
And
because
then
that's like classic Mishima game plan
Yep.
is condition them into a situation where they want to press, right? Because forward 4 into the down forward 1-1 spam is toxic as hell versus a Hachi.
Yeah.
And then the moment you press a button, he backdashes or sidesteps, and then you get electric. Huge reward from him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean like, like small Tekken. Like I think he stayed at an intimidating range, and he really just kind of used like some of his better tools, but stayed relatively safe. Like I didn't see him
small
using.
Tekken's a good word, a good phrase for it too. Especially since like a big part of it is like you said, you want to minimize that risk. Not necessarily maximizing the reward, but definitely minimizing the risk, not giving them anything to take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? And purely looking at ways that you can exploit them. Especially since in this situation where you have a two round lead, right? Someone like Danny B is going to expect that you might have trouble closing it out. And he's going to expect that if you aren't able to adapt fast enough, you're just going to get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna, because you just want to close it out. You're like, I don't want to lose these matches. If I let him come back even a little bit, he's gonna take 2, and now we're at a tie game. I don't want to do that. I gotta close it out. And it's very real to exploit that emotional problem you're having, and people can see it in your gameplay, whether or not you think it. I used to think people couldn't see that shit, and then I played Danny B, and he showed me how obvious it is in the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can kind of feel it sometimes when someone is nervous or when they're scared. And not to say that you were in this set in particular, but literally like when your back's against the wall, and I can speak from experience here, when your back's against the wall, you literally have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And so that's when someone is the most dangerous.
Exactly, definitely. That's probably the hardest part about closing out a round in this game or closing out a match or a set is when someone, like you said, someone's back is up against the wall, the way that they calculate risk versus reward is now going to go out the window, because anything they do is going to kill them. Anything they do is going to get them kicked out of the tournament, right? Especially since we're like, this is just online. What about when we go to a tournament, someone just paid thousands of dollars to get to this fucking hotel, and you sent him home 0-2. Like, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to go home at least 2-2 or something. He's going to pull out all the bag of tricks.
That was a good block on the full crouch down forward 4 from Montel. And good low. And so you almost got him pretty much close to 50%. And
So
he
this
hit
situation's scary after the
Oh!
1+2. That is nasty. Can we watch that back?
I've never seen that before.
I love the way he does that. This is something you can do with most characters, but it's easier with Mishimas because they have the wave dash that covers more space. When someone doesn't want to tech or anything at the wall, you can kind of dash into them. And then when they do wake up, it does some weird stuff. Like you see with this one, it messed up the camera and put him on the right side.
Yeah. So you got up and he ended up on your side, and you probably didn't block the right way. That was really slick.
He literally
Danny
did like
B's part.
a Street Fighter cross up.
But can we talk about how we got here?
Yeah, let's talk about how we got here. Go
Let's
back to
talk
that
about
whiff
how we
punish.
got here.
That was a whiff punish, baby.
You know what Zach was saying earlier, showed in this match in particular. Danny B used his movement to force pretty much a whiff punish. Not this is not here. We gotta go forward.
The punch parry.
Yeah, we're going ahead of this.
So he gets the nice block
this.
punish. That was very good, and I'm pretty sure that was a straight up reaction to it as well.
Yep. Then the low. Now watch how he uses his movement here.
I love his crouch dash movement.
Look at that.
Because every time he goes forward, you think he's going to do something and you want to interrupt it.
Yeah.
And then he sets it up because he does it multiple times. Now you're thinking, I really got to interrupt him.
Yeah. Or let me stop him in his tracks. Like, you know what? Slow down,
Yeah.
buddy. Like, you know, I'm not even going to let you get started. And by the time you press a button, you're already in the air.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have to see it again. It's okay.
But literally that one electric is what made you lose the round.
Yeah.
It only takes 2 electric combos and you're pretty much done for.
Yep.
In this
Or
game.
even for Heihachi, if he's getting the full wall carry plus the wall combo, it might as well just be one more mix-up after that and you're done.
Yeah, pretty much.
If he gets the down forward 1-2 and he's got the hard read, because you can't hit him from it. It is a hard read.
It is.
Unless you get the counter hit. But if he gets that, you're done.
All right, sweet. So far, Danny's feeling super confident,
Yeah,
and he
super
ended up
confident.
closing out that match. Can we see that last one? Okay, let's watch it again from here.
You had an amazing start, right? You got the counter hit down forward 2-1. You confirmed it. Got the full combo, which is hard to do because you have to do the dash up.
Good job here. Nice carry.
It's a wall
To the
combo.
wall.
Weird angle doesn't get him the combo. Nice
Okay.
4-4-1. So this is where the momentum shifts. And
Oh,
momentum in
boy.
this game is a huge thing. Very huge thing. Especially when you're playing versus
Oh
Mishimas.
boy, he hit you with the 3 sweeps.
So the reason that worked is because he literally
And he
has
did
not
it
he
again.
has not done it yet, right? And now he's just taking advantage of the fact that you're flustered.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's all it was at the end, was just brawling and taking advantage of the emotional aspect of Tekken, which is, I want to win, I need to close out this match, and he's pissing me off.
Yeah, and
So-
and that, like, you didn't have to take that. Like, those hell sweeps you can block. Like, they're not natural. And
Yep, he needs the counter hit on the first one or the second one in order to make it a combo.
Yeah.
So it's a risk. It's a huge risk that Heihachi has to take. Because, like, sure, they made it safe, but at least it's stopped. Like, look at the reward he gets from you not stopping it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it seemed like it was more of a scramble towards the end, but he just made some really good. He took advantage of some things he hadn't used yet.
Exactly, yeah. A big part, like I was saying, when it comes to conditioning, it's not the whole match that matters. It's the last bit of your life that the conditioning really matters. Because that's when you're truly thinking about the habits that your opponent had and you're exploiting them.
Yeah, I like also what Banny is doing. He's using generic down jabs or generic down force to put him into full crouch to put you in a mix-up.
Yep.
So, like, pay attention to things like that. Like, he, right here, hits you with a generic down 2, which it could have been
sure
a
it was
messed
a
up
failed
electric.
electric,
Yeah,
but it's okay.
but he made it work. He was like, I messed up that electric, but hey, while I'm down here, I might as well do this full sweep low. And it works. And to be honest, like, from playing Banny over the years, that's super new to his game, and I think that's probably thanks to Doc.
Oh, yeah. Danny B, don't take it like that. It's just we're looking at it as instructional theory and stuff like that. Because with Montel, he uploaded these matches specifically because he has the problem with closing out a set. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter whether it's a tournament, training session, or whatever. That's something that is going to be a problem that comes up all the time, you know? This match, and we're only doing one match in particular as well, where he had the 2-round lead and he lost it 3-0, and we're analyzing it so that he can learn and get better is all. That's all it is. And it doesn't really matter what matches you guys bring to us, whether it's like a serious match, a tournament set, training with your friend, sparring, whatever. We're going to review anything if you think it's something that you want to take something from, right? But like I also said too, the main important goal is getting you guys in a position so that you can review it yourself, being self-sufficient. I think that's the main goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if it's like a training session, casuals, whatever. I'm playing you guys seriously. You know what I mean? Like
I feel the same
and
too.
yeah, I'll be able to test out my things, of course, absolutely no problem. But I still that's still important to me, and I still play you guys seriously. There's no sandbagging. Like, I want to do my best versus you guys because I feel like that's gonna push me to the next level as well. So, Montel, I hope that helped. And if you got further questions, let me know. Let Dank know. And we'll get back to you, bro.
Yeah, we're not even done watching him because on to our next matches that we're reviewing is Zachary the Elder, and it's from his Brightest Lights set with Montel. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So I forgot. Let me pull up. I think he had some notes. I think it was literally he just said just anything we find. Let me see.
So this is
yeah, anything we find. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna take a quick look and we'll see what we can find and talk about it. You know.
So this is not a Montel review now. This is a Zachary.
No, now we're looking at Zachary the Elder. Now I'm gonna be honest with you straight up. My Yoshi knowledge is a little bit limited. It's the full extent of it is through iMusician clips.
No, it's all good.
No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like I really hated this matchup, so I kind of tried to learn it a little bit. So I'm super familiar with some of the stuff, and then we also have some help in the chat. I think Effect plays Yoshi a little bit.
Yep. But anyway, what we can talk about is like anything that has to do with generic Tekken knowledge and fundamentals we can absolutely help with. And I do know a little bit of Yoshi, at least when it comes to his general game plan, his punishment, and stuff like that. So we can help with that. These big ass cameras in the way of gameplay. Hey man, I have nothing to do with the Brightest Light stream. This is a unassociated organization.
Yeah, I mean, we're all a collective at the end of the day, but everyone has their own layouts.
He does what he wants.
Yeah, Malik does what he wants. You can't condition him.
So right away, we see Montel playing kind of like a dick.
Absolutely.
Let's back it up back to the first match, because I think those two were very fast, but I think we can still grab a lot of information from them. One thing I can tell you for sure is going to be that the throw breaks were killing you. If you're having trouble with throw breaks in general, my next biggest I'm always going to say practice your throw breaks. Like 100%, I'm going to be a dick about that. I'm going to preach it, practice your throw breaks, no matter who you are. But another thing is, if you don't want to practice your throw breaks or you're still in the process of it and you're still having trouble, another option is avoiding the throws. Move around, stay out of their preferred range for that the throws are going to land. Sidestep to the correct direction. I think King sidestep right is going to be safe for most of his throws. I know only one of them is going to catch you that way. So understanding that makes it so that you don't have to necessarily rely on pure reactions, right? Because eliminating the tools is just as good as being able to react to them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that 100%. Like, I feel like folks have a harder time throwing people that move well, especially like people that backdash really well, you know, and like as you're fighting King, you just know the certain range you don't want to be in versus him to not get thrown. So yeah, that's some really good tips in general, but of course practice throwing, breaking.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so you know, Montel with a quick first two.
Yeah, super aggressive. I think that was like the second or third down 4-2-1 you could have ducked as well. That's just something that comes with like matchup experience. And it's also another conditioning thing too. Like how many times are you gonna stand block afterwards, kind of a thing. Because Kings can just spam down forward 2, and they want to see if you're gonna duck or not on reaction.
Yeah.
That low, I forget what the input is. I believe it's like a crouch dash through 2. That should not be hitting. That's really reactable. And the reward's not that good if you block it, but low parrying it is possible. Hop kicking is possible. He gets too much reward from a move that should not be hitting. It's reactable by most players, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, the way that I'm seeing most King players use it is definitely on Oki.
Yeah, like a tech trap scenario.
Exactly. But in general, you can still tech roll, stand up, and then go right back down as soon as you see it, because it is super slow again.
And like Sandwich pointed out, he does get the giant swing attempt there, and that was good. Giants. I know a lot of players usually when they're playing versus King and they have a hard time with throw breaks. There's usually like a mantra they have, which is I'm always gonna press 1.
Yeah, and boy, that's a mistake.
Versus him, absolutely.
Oh man.
I mean, that depends. Some players, some King players are like that. They're just like I'm a giant swing every time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when you get to the next level of King, you'll realize that that's not the only throw that he has. Man, he has some amazing chain throws.
Oh, yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, ducking down forward 2-1 is essential. I think what the best thing to do, and anything that I can tell you to do in that match, it's going to be stuff that it has to do with like taking the guaranteed damage that's being left on the table, right? Because things are whiffing and they're not being punished, and you're blocking things that can be ducked and launched punished, right? And that is like huge. If the king player is like throwing out down forward 2-1 and he's not hit confirming on a counter hit, like he should be dying for that. Even Yoshi, he might not have the best combo damage, but he has a wall staying launcher that's going to get him at least 70 damage, so, or maybe 60 if it's infinite, right?
I am so sad. I literally just watched that round. It was literally heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I was gonna give you a lot of praise for the stuff that was happening in the beginning.
You played a true Yoshi game here, and it was amazing.
Yeah, the mix-ups were phenomenal. The conditioning, too, was really good.
But then you stayed here, and you shouldn't have stayed here. This is not where you want to be. With a king player's back against the wall, you have to anticipate that a giant swing is coming.
Go back to when he goes into the helicopter stance and then he gets the low. That situation I can break down really hard. I want you to pause it too after he does it. All right, so then he backdashes right there. So after he gets hit by the 2-1, he should have, instead of doing that 4-4-1+2, the headbutt thing, he should have backdashed.
Yes.
The reason I think he should have backdashed is because it was going to create enough space so that any move King does was going to whiff.
Yep.
And Yoshi's whiff punishment is really, really good with down forward 2, 1-1, down forward 1-2, up forward 4, crouch dash 2 is really good because crouch dash 2 with a wall splat at that range. All really, really good moves that are going to punish King if he does literally anything. And it's like I was saying before with the Montel matches. If you're going to do something like backdash in that scenario while his back's at the wall, you're doing it with the intent that something's going to whiff. And if it doesn't whiff, then you just change your game plan.
And you got to remember, too, that you have the life lead here, a considerable one as well. And so your player is going to have to push offense in order to catch up. And that's when you kind of want to thread the needle, essentially, and pick them apart.
That's another thing you said there that's very important. You had a life lead, right? When you look at it like that, how much of a life lead you had, you also have to think, what does my opponent have that would get rid of this gap, and is he going to do it? Is he capable of doing it, right? And go ahead and hit play, and we're going to see he was very, very capable of doing it because you didn't backdash enough to make this whiff. If you had done the backdash, instead of getting hit by the 2-1, you would have made it whiff. Now look, now the life is almost even.
Yeah.
And then you get hit by the rage drive, and the game's freaking over.
Again, hey, my man did a giant swing and hit the wall, right? So that's a solid 70 damage, and then he still had a loaded gun.
Yeah.
And what does Montel do with the loaded gun? He uses that.
Yep, and that's a situation like he was saying. You know, you had the life lead. This was something you could have reasonably expected because nothing else that King could have done would have given him this much momentum. Yeah. Just the giant swing.
Yeah.
So that's something you be aware of. You say, damn, I can't get giant swinged right here. If I get giant swing, I lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the King's back against the wall, you have to anticipate he's going to do giant swing and also mix between the reverse throw, where he's throwing you against the wall.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary to think about.
It's a 1 and a 1+2.
So you might as well. I won't lie to you. I don't like to give affect the happiness from putting pressure on him against the wall. So I sometimes literally, even with a life lead, will back away.
Absolutely.
And I'll give effect his wall.
Absolutely.
Effect, you can have your wall, bro.
Yeah, no, it's
you gotta come
strategy.
get me.
I feel like that's a big part of the things that makes King good is the way he sticks to you like glue.
Yeah.
Because his mix-ups, in my opinion, when you get really good defense, his mix-ups aren't all that.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you can't get away from him and he will just keep rolling the dice if he really wants to. And that's not something you want to give him the satisfaction of.
Wow.
And this is a lot of situations where that's exactly what happened, right? You whiff a lot of that was like him whiff punishing you or block punishing you and then taking the reward after, right? Which with King is always a mix up because like after a punish like 2-1, he is 2+ for you to do anything.
Yeah. Yep, especially in this season. So that was he did a whole dive.
Yeah,
and
so
you
he
just
did flash. That was really good the way he baited out the flash too, and then he did 2-1 into the. I think that's a 1+2.
That's a 1+2.
Yeah.
Muscle buster.
Muscle buster. Boom. And they made it so that that's a new buff too. You could buffer that in between your inputs and stuff. So he did 2-1, buffer the throw, and just press the button.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was sweet. But there was a missed opportunity again because you saw him dive at you, and it whiffed. And that was a perfect opportunity.
That back one, I remember I was seeing this a lot too, and this was a big part of your success was using the back one spins in order to create a whiff punish scenario. It was really, really good. But then, see, that's the thing is you had so much reward, and then you just kind of unnecessarily throw it all away. You know, that's kind of been like a huge theme.
I actually don't know how to break that. Did you see him get out of that throw attempt?
Yeah, I didn't see what throw it was though.
Ooh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, the back one spins were great.
That was beautiful.
As risky as it is to do, it's still worth it because it creates so much more space than your generic backdash, and it's kind of sidestepping at the same time.
This.
I think it's a 1.
Oh, that's a 1 throw. Yeah, that's a 1 throw.
Okay.
It just has a weird startup animation. Like you still have to break it early, but the break animation comes later. Because that's a throw chain starter, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, it's a 1. Awesome. It's a 1 detox.
Yeah, it's a 1.
See
you can see, you can see the arm. You can see the arm too.
It's so cool. I like how you get out of it because it's like, oh man, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, just kidding, I'm out.
Just wiggle it out, baby.
Yo, Zach is doing a lot of back ones to get out of pressure, but then also Montel's doing a lot of Jaguar to get out of pressure. It's really cool.
Yeah. I think a lot of this was Montel being a forward-moving freight train. You punished it a couple of times. You did a really, really good job of like analyzing that and punish, because it wasn't just like stuff that like just happened, right? You were clearly aware of it and you knew what you were doing, and I want to give you praise for that. But the problem comes with throwing that reward away afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, Zach, I want to say that you should probably really focus in on dash guarding.
Dash guarding's so good.
Yeah, I think that was missing in your game, and I feel like it would have gave you a lot of data, but also would have kind of helped you to block in certain scenarios where you kind of got clipped, like the rage drive. Like there was a few times where you just kind of dashed forward but didn't guard, and you got clipped with rage drive. And then also I would say that like in general when you're playing Tekken 7, it's probably worth it to force someone to use their rage drive before you continue on your pressure.
In fact, I think up until you get to playing a high-level player, you can almost always assume as soon as someone gets rage, they want to use it.
Yeah,
rage. I don't know what it is about this game, but people, the moment that red dress gets put on, they're pressing their rage art or rage drive. They're doing it.
Yeah, just know that a lot of people, it's just like their comeback factor, and they have to use it. Like it sucks to die with it, so you have to use it in some way, shape, or form, whether it's your rage drive or your rage art. Yeah. So Montel in particular, I barely see him rage art as much as he rage drives. Like he has to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's something that, like I said, at a base level, when you don't know what this person's going to do, it's a safe assumption that they're going to do rage as soon as they get it, right? Yeah. But then that's when you start, like I said, there's 5 rounds in each match. So if we're talking about a 1st to 3, it's potentially going to be 15 rounds total. That means you have a lot of matches, technically, that like you are downloading information. Everything is about information. Well, everything's about conditioning. And then the conditioning is what gives you the information about what kind of a player you're dealing with, how they react, what do they know, what's their emotional level like, what are things you can exploit about their game plan. This is all stuff that you need to be thinking about. It's really hard to autopilot in this game. I think a strong autopilot is really important. It's just that's only the beginning of it, right? When you have a strong autopilot that you can kind of rely on, but the point of that autopilot is it's going to eventually be an adaptable game plan.
Yeah, for sure. Was there another match?
They have a whole 1st to 5, but we were just gonna do the first 2 because we're doing two matches. We're just doing everybody.
2 matches for everybody.
Yeah, so I think we had a lot to talk about with that one. A lot.
Just that one match. Yeah, we had so much.
Just 2 matches. Yeah, 2 matches. Sure. They happen really fast too, so that's why you had to kind of go back and do a lot of like retracking and talk more about what was going on. But there was a lot we could have taken from that. Same with the Montel matches, a lot we could have taken from that. And I hope it helps you guys a lot too. Really hope it's helpful. I don't want to just be like a patronizing dick when I'm up here, you know?
No, absolutely not. And even the fights that like these, I know these are not your fights, guys. Like, you know, this is, you've seen a lot of Montel, you've seen a lot of Zach in here, but you can still kind of learn from some of their mistakes as well.
Absolutely.
Dash guarding in general is something I could literally tell all of you guys to do a lot more of. Sandwich does it so well, and like even like Detox does it a lot. Well, he uses it a lot more for intimidation, but it's like super good, super powerful, and you can learn so much from your opponent.
Yeah, since what we're always going to be talking about is ironing out the fundamentals and bringing it back to that, right, square one. Dash blocking is probably going to be something I talk about the most.
Oh yeah.
Dash blocking is like, I think it's as important. Like people talk about the importance of the one jab. I would say on the same level of importance is dash blocking.
Hey, my friends and I call it dub.
Dub.
D-U-B. It's called dash up block.
I like that. Dub.
All right. So from now on, instead of calling it dash up block, we just call it dub. So is your dubbing right? How's your dub? Work on that. It's important, bro.
Yo, Zachary, don't even worry about it, man. I really appreciate that you actually wanted to be a part of it, bro. Taking initiative is really cool. I'm glad to engage with you guys. I love engaging with the community. Stuff like this is so much fun. And I'm really glad we could help. And my goal is you will be able to become that self-sufficient. Like you said, you got more out of our feedback than you could on your own. I want to get us all to a point where you're going to look back on your matches on your own and you're going to see that shit before we did, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're going to get to a point, no one knows you better than you. That's the key. And that's how you're really going to inspire growth in yourself, is when you fully understand yourself. Because when you understand yourself, you understand what your faults are. And your strengths. Your strengths are important. If you focus on just the faults, you're going to get depressed and you're going to quit the game.
Yeah.
But if you focus on what you're doing right, that's something you understand now you need to reinforce, right? Because you're always going to be improving at everything.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And hey, you know what? There's been a lot of fallen soldiers, man. I've seen a lot of guys come into this game and just like, nah, bro, I can't do it. Like, it's too much of a time investment, and they have to drop off. So shout outs to any one of you guys that are still playing this goddamn game.
It's a brutal game.
Oh, who the hell is this?
Yes, so this is going to be our last one of the night, and this one is going to feature our local murderer, Doc Massacre, versus Mr. Sandwich. Sandwich was the one who had uploaded the match. It was in his set versus Doc from Brightest Lights, another Brightest Lights set. So you get to see Effect's beautiful face and Malik's. And what else is there to say? All right, so it looks like we're actually starting up 3 points on Doc's side already. So it's going to be the last 2 matches from this set. So contextually, we're going to be missing a lot of information, like what happened in these first 3 matches, what was working, what wasn't working. So we're kind of just going to jump right into it, assuming that Doc's got a pretty big mental lead, right?
Yep. So Doc's running.
Okay, this is new for me.
Doc.
Well, try not to analyze you too much, Doc. If I do say anything, I'm probably just be like, wow, Doc's a fucking piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I like that interruption. That is a necessary risk that in this match. So actually, I want to pause real quick already. So I like I like Ganryu a lot, and I'm really glad I get to talk about him. So, and this is something that is super specific to this matchup. We're not talking Tekken. We're talking this matchup. Ganryu doesn't have a 10 frame, right? And Hwoarang forces the game of, are you going to mash, are you going to duck, or are you going to move? Which one's it going to be, right? That 3-way mix-up. When he wants to force you to mash, in the matchup, you need to be looking at your best moves to stop him, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Ganryu, it's going to be his headbutt.
Yeah.
His headbutt is wildly unsafe. I think it's like minus 13 on block.
It's about 13.
And its whiff recovery is terrible, right? But it's a move he needs to use in this matchup. Other matchups, you can literally never use headbutt unless it's for punishment.
Call your mom.
So that's like a huge, huge factor in this matchup that is kind of a bad thing for Ganryu, right? He doesn't want to take that risk. And in Tekken, you never really want to take a risk. But when you get to a higher level, you realize, like, damn, there's risks I have to take, and that's one of them. Especially because we're looking at it purely based on the matchup. And he did it really good here. If I remember, that was something I was thinking to myself when I was watching the set live on Tuesday. I was like, you know, he was getting messed up because he was afraid to interrupt, and Doc was mixing him like crazy. But that headbutt changes the game. It changes the matchup a lot. It's a risk he kind of has to take.
Yeah, but you know what? I think in this matchup, it's actually not that risky because I think for -12 or -13, Hwoarang doesn't have a great 12-frame Punisher.
He's going to do 4-4, and he's going to go right into his normal Hwoarang pressure. It's not amazing damage, right? It's not going to be like, Diligent back 1-2, King back 1-2, fucking Lydia 4-2-4, stuff like that. Josie 4-2-4.
Yeah,
like that. Those are 12 frames that like that shit hurts.
Yeah, like damn, you'll make you think about damn, do I want to continue? But I think it was great to apply it. I think it's important to apply it here for the reward that you get because you're getting a knockdown with the headbutt and then you get the follow up after. That's actually really good damage.
But
for how fast that headbutt is.
Yes. The big key to me is the speed, right? If you're any character looking at the Hwoarang matchup, we'll back it up again and we'll look more at that. If you're any character looking at the Hwoarang matchup, you want to know what is my fastest mid, what is my and obviously is my jab good in this matchup, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, he doesn't even have a jab. His fastest move is going to be that headbutt. So, but he needs a 10 frame. In most situations, he needs that 10 frame. It's going to be your fastest move to be interrupting stuff. And when he's going to be interrupting that stuff, it changes the way the Hwoarang has to play now. He's not able to do stuff that isn't going to frame trap or isn't going to, at least he wants to sometimes stop his pressure and make it whiff, right? And if a Hwoarang is stopping his pressure, you're kind of doing something right.
Agreed.
Really hard to get in range 0? Oh, absolutely. That's why sometimes you would kind of, I feel like as Ganryu, you wouldn't even want to play the range 0 unless you don't have the life lead and you need to get it, right? Because if you don't have the life lead, you need to be in range of down forward 3. Nothing matters more but down forward 3 range. But really, I think Ganryu wouldn't have a terrible time zoning him out. And especially with his whiff punishment, I think Ganryu's whiff punishment is so underrated. Down forward 2 is but his full crouch down forward 2, his wall standing 2, his down forward 1 is all that stuff's really good. Back 1+2 as a whiff punish really good.
So, it's looking like Sandwich is usually just using jabs.
Sandwich blocks a lot, but I feel like
neutral.
Sandwich jab, he blocks a lot, but I feel like he's not taking advantage of. There was like 3 scenarios that he could have ducked and launched, which is a little hard. It's hard to be on the ball versus Hwoarang, and a lot of it's like matchup experience too. I think I still struggle with gaining whiff punishment. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh yeah, forward 1+2, forward 1+2 are all really good moves. I forgot he has a 13 frame whiff punish. Forward 1+2.
Look at these jabs. He's really just trying to start the pressure going, and Doc is kind of just like threading the needle again. He finds his spots, he gets his damage, and then he's just like out of the way. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna guard all of your jabs and all of your pokes up close. I'm not afraid. And he's also keeping a space where he's not getting hit with the down back 3s.
Bro, I love Doc's movement.
It's amazing because he's like playing.
He reminds me of every time I see Hwoarang players, I'm like, why don't they do the back turns and shit and the fucking wave dashing, and it blows my mind. I love seeing it because it's weaving up. He's able to just move, and if he wants to, he has the choice of mixing up, but he doesn't have to. He's just moving. He's eliminating tools and stuff, and it's applying pressure because it's like it's tricking them every time he moves forward.
Look at that! Look at that! Now he's in right foot forward, right, and he's backing up, and it's a different spacing than in his regular stance, which is really cool. Props to you, Doc. I just want to give you. I know that a lot of people say that they hate playing you sometimes because you're super boring, blah blah blah. But your gameplay is super artful.
I think
that's even a word.
Easily the most inspirational player we have. I've even told him I think the one cool thing about him that I respect the most is the way he always does what needs to be done. He is someone who analyzes the game and the players he's playing. Right, he sees a lot more that other people don't see, and he. Like the concept of risk reward versus him is always going to be about what he needs to do. If he needs to bet all in, he's going to bet all in, even if he thinks betting all in is a bad idea, right? But it's about what the context of the situation demands. And I like a bunch of people were saying, right for forward backdash is built different. Yes, right for forward backdash is built different. On top of the fact that him chilling in right foot forward is a huge advantage for him, especially in this matchup, right? Because he has access to the backlash, very fast backlash, which is very good for a lot of the moves that Ganryu has that have a lot of startup, right? Even though a lot of moves that Ganryu has have really good whiff recovery or block frame data, what they have is slow startup, and that's important for a move like backlash because it's going to absorb the hits later on, and it's going to guarantee him the hit. As well as the other threat that exists from right foot forward is the easier just frame skyrocket. It's easier to do just frame skyrocket from right foot forward than it is from normal stance. So that is something to be super afraid of because at any point he's going to backdash and whiff punish you.
Put a 1 in the chat if you want to see Doc go from first Dan to Tekken God Omega. I think that he could absolutely, with the skills that he has, just the way he can pick apart an opponent.
But it's about what does he have to gain from it? Because ranked is
its own beast.
Ranked is.
But I still want to see it. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what? Because
it's
he should stream, right, and it should be a lesson for us all, so he can teach us how to play defense versus like the most aggressive players in the community. You know what I'm saying?
So he's gonna do like the clickbaity YouTube stuff where it's like climbing from first Dan to Tekken God Omega.
Yes. I don't think he wants to be probably put in the stress.
He's already going no.
Yeah.
No. It's not worth it. Ranked isn't really. All right. So my perspective on ranked is this, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. If ranked in its perfect environment and in a perfect system is a very, very good thing, especially for new players. I think ranked is actually the most important thing for any competitive game to have player retention, because ranked is what makes it so that players don't want to pull their freaking hair out. It's so important to face someone who is a similar skill level, because if you're a scrub and you're facing someone who's even a scrub, and you're up here, it's not fun. You're still going to mop them. But then you face someone who's up here a lot better than you. Now you're not even playing the game, and it's not fun. Making it so that your matches are always right here is the ideal situation. But honestly, most games' rank systems are garbage. They're kind of fraudulent. I think Tekken's probably the worst, especially with the way the system is. It encourages some really faulty behavior, especially with most people are going to rank up through only rematching people they can beat, And that alone is going to make it so that the results you get when you get matched up with someone who is supposedly the same rank as you, it's not going to be what you expect. And another thing is most of the people you're going to fight are people on their alt characters, because your alt characters get brought up ranks.
I have an opinion.
Go ahead.
All right. I think that rank. Dank's looking in my eyes, bro. Yo, that man is looking deep into my eyes right now. I think that the rank has a place. Okay. I was gonna say that rank is important, but I want to say that rank has a place in this game, and I think that everybody in this chat should experience it in their own way. And what I want to say is that, in my opinion, I think that I really like rank to prepare me for tournament sets.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because in rank, the goal is, because this is a first to one, which is worse than first to two.
Yeah.
This is a first to one. You literally have no time to collect data. So in rank, what happens is that you're collecting data from as soon as the match starts.
Yeah, you don't know anything.
And you don't know anything. But what happens is, because you want to win so bad, because something's on the line, I think that's also important too. Like your rank's on the line. So if that matters to you, right? You're going to play a certain way, whether it's super conservative or completely balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And I think that's super powerful, because it helps you to kind of refine the way you need to play when it's time to win.
Yeah.
And it's almost the same feeling. Like, you guys can't lie. Like, I know even me, I hop into rank and I can still feel the nerves.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you're going to run into. Like, before you even see the name that pops up on the screen or the character you have to fight, you can feel the nerves. And then when you see that Yoshi Tekken God Prime, you're like, oh God, what's this going to look like? You know what I mean? But it's the same stuff that happens when you go to tournament as well.
Yeah.
And it's almost the same feeling. And so I think that it has a place. But the problem with rank is, again, the ranking system. And everybody thinking that they're good because of the whatever level they're at or hierarchy that they're at. And I can see where it can get super toxic, because a lot of people are not going into rank looking for good games. Like people are going into rank looking to have that TGO.
I think you made a good point when you compared it to tournament, right? Because that is what most people fucking look at rank as. Like, they take it mad serious, right?
Yeah.
They take it so serious. They take it as serious as if it was like a tournament set. Like, I traveled to this hotel. I paid hundreds of dollars to be here, and I'm not getting knocked out by you, right? That's their perspective.
Yep.
That is their perspective 100%. And you go into a tournament that has 1,000 players in the pool, 50 of them are going to be professional players, right? And have a chance at top 8. The other 950 are ranked warriors, straight up. So if you want to prepare for those guys, you can find them on ranked, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're not prepared for them, that's going to be the guy to fucking rip the rug right from under you. And you're going to be like, what the fuck just happened, you know? I've seen it happen to all my friends who have entered the tournaments. They're just like, man, and they're good players too. They're just like, man, I faced this Lucky Chloe. I never really see the matchup, and he was just playing so wild. And you went home because of that, right? You went home 1-2, 2-2 because of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's true. And one more thing I'll say is that I think that rank, the level of rank you are as well, right? Like if you're in like the higher ranks, like anything like above like Emperor, I'm noticing that those players are like more resilient, right?
Yeah.
And like are and probably do have a better understanding of the game, or in general at least a better understanding of their character and how to use that character to abuse their opponents.
Yeah.
And like from what I'm noticing, like, you know, when I face someone that's Emperor or above, like it does feel considerably harder than if I'm fighting like a first dan, for sure. You know what I mean?
But I think that was way too much of a sidetrack. We should get back to actually reviewing Sandwich's match, because we're here for Sandwich. We had to do a little bit of stroking for Doc, and then we had to segue it into a ranked subject. And now we're going back to Sandwich. We only got one round.
Sorry, Sandwich. This is Electric Digest. We like to digress.
All right, this is the last point I'm going to say. You said JDCR said it's decent for seeing how to play against a wide variety of people. Absolutely. I think any matchmaking like that is very, very good. I think playing more than one person is always going to be good. Yeah. As much as I love saying you should always be playing your homies around here, because it's going to be your biggest room for improvement, right? Because you're able to talk to them and grow together. Playing more people is always still going to be beneficial. Entering tournaments and playing randoms, going to matchmaking forums, or just matchmaking online in general and finding people, super important for collecting different types of data.
Also, please do not forget practice mode, which is probably the most essential thing. What do I do when I fight somebody in rank mode and I have no idea how to punish a certain move? I literally leave and I go right into practice mode, and I say, what is that move and how can I avoid it?
Listen, we've all had our days where we get into a ranked situation, or even a player match situation, or maybe we're in a lobby with someone and a character is fucking us up, some situation, right? Whether it's like, we don't know this move, we don't know which way to step, and a lot of the times we'll beat our head up against the wall trying to figure it out. You're going to get pissed doing that. Just remember what it was, go into the training room, figure it out. Because if you're just like, I don't know, a lot of people just get super heated trying to figure. It's like trying to figure out a puzzle you can't see, you know? You got to find the pieces first.
Doc is far from what rank mode is, and this is what Ruben is dealing with right now. And he seems to be having a hard time, but he did get a match on the board.
No, he did good here. I was watching while I was talking. But he did good here. A lot of it was whiff punishment. And let's see where he goes from here. Because that whiff punish at the start of the round was very good. And his momentum here is getting thrown away because he was kind of afraid to put any pressure. Like, getting in that range, if you're going to get into the range that Whoring is successful at, you should be ready to take advantage of it. Whether it's like making him whiff after or applying your own pressure. But I think he did really good here otherwise.
Yeah, I like that.
You could have ducked. See, that's another scenario. There's a lot of stuff like that. You need to be ducking and launching that. Down forward 4 he should always die for that. He should every time get his entire life bar chunked for that. I mean, now it would have been just death with wall standing 4, but you could launch that, you know?
Yeah, I understand why he went for it. It was kind of like a Hail Mary, hoping that it would hit, but it didn't work out. But also, he didn't punish it the right way.
Yeah. But very good 1-1 now. Yeah, no more talking about rank.
Yeah, we're done with rank.
If I see ban anyone who says ranked in the chat, please.
Nice try. I like that Doc tried to condition you. He went to back turn and this time went for the mid, assuming
nice
that you would duck
forward plus 2. See, I really like that. Everyone calls it a whiff punish tool, but it's also honestly also kind of a move you can just throw out there because it's safe, you know. And it's so fast, 13 frames. It's just the input that's weird, you know, forward 1 plus 2.
No, it's
but it's
pretty good.
such a good move.
It's so good, yeah. Because literally, you're pressing forward to close the gap anyway, and then you're just hitting 1 plus 2.
And because of that
something.
forward input, you're also gonna make it so that it's gonna realign if they step and stuff.
Yeah.
But go back a little bit. I want to see how that momentum shifted from Gani to Horang, because he gets the 1 plus 2, gets the combo, doesn't get the wall.
1-1.
Yeah,
down
very
jab.
good to try to hit confirm the down 1 plus 2. That's a move that the extension should
Nice
only be
duck.
coming out on a hit.
That was clean.
Yeah, he ducked it down forward 1-4-1.
And he just
Doesn't duck it down forward 2-1.
Wow.
That was a beautiful backlash. I like the idea. The idea you had behind it was perfectly fine. And I'm pretty sure in mind, you may have not had it in mind to beat the Power Crush, but that is a legitimate option if you had it in mind. It just wasn't the right range. Down 4 would be better at that range. Down 4 would have hit. And not just that, down 4 is a counter hit launcher.
As soon as I see Horong in that stance, my goal is to take him out of it.
Yes.
So I'm using the generic down 4 or the down jab. I'm trying to get him out of that stance as safely as possible.
Yeah.
Because he's dangerous there. And he has some really good stuff in that stance that can literally change the pace of the whole match.
Definitely. You use forward 1 plus 2 to catch stepping? Absolutely. And because of that input, like I was saying, it helps a lot. And you can delay it too to make it so you're going forward more and realigning more. Dashing is always going to be super important. He gets the counter hit. All right, so you do duck it that time. He tried doing a counter hit tech trap scenario where like he was going to key charge, you were going to tech, and you're going to get into the down forward 4, but it whiffed.
Hey, Sandwich, can I ask a question while this commercial's on? How many times did you rewatch this? And be honest. How many times did you rewatch this? I know we're reviewing it for you, but did you watch this already? Look at this guy. He's just having a great time in the shower.
This guy is having the best time in the shower.
And look at Doc. Even Doc. Did he watch it too? This is my third. Doc rewatched that even though he won.
Yeah.
That's ego for you. No,
Watch
but it's
each
good.
one at least once. Okay.
It's good. It's good to even if you win, it's good to review your matches.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Friggin' the fact that Ruben submitted a match surprised me because he is the last person I would recommend this to. I know he studies everything. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much everyone else in this region that I would like to see studying more. I knew Ruben was already watching his matches. He probably just wants the other alternative perspective, maybe a little more engagement.
Yeah.
I, of course, respect that.
Yeah.
And I do that too. I always ask people to different perspectives about stuff too.
It's
100%.
important. It's
Super
important. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know what? When we first met Ruben, we knew that kid had talent from a long time ago.
He's a very smart person.
He's just a smart dude, man. And you know, back in the day, like we would play at Balance Patch, and he'd probably fight Nick or something like that. And Nick would switch to Gigas and beat him with some bullshit, and then he'd come back and he'd be friggin' Gigas knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this kid is labbing, bro.
What the fuck? I miss Balance Patch? Same, bro. I miss you too, Snow. I hope Japan's doing well for you.
Yeah, konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
O genki desu ka?
Onegazaimashita.
Just like that.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, go back. I want to see how. So Sandwich. I feel like after he launched that down 4-4, that was a situation where he could have taken the momentum and just keep going with it. Ganry was a momentum beast. He's really good with that. So he gets the combo. Probably not going to get the wall from this, right? Down 4-1 plus 2. Such a good move.
Yo, my guy, Real Dad. What's up, bro? Long time no see.
Real Dad, what's up?
Yeah, we all got long hair now, man. A quarantine. It's almost
Nice.
a year and some change.
I can't believe that down back 2 worked. That's something that probably shouldn't work. And then that throw. Damn, the one throw, right? I'm pretty sure that's a one throw when he does the setup like that. Oh, two throw, excuse me.
And that's a whole regular throw.
That's
not
the
a
regular.
command.
That wasn't
That's
even
not
his
a
command.
command. That's
And
not
that's
a
something
command
you
throw.
have to be freaking scared of with Horing, is he's got the 3-way throw, and when he goes back turn, you can't tell which mix-up it's going to be because they all look like 1 plus 2.
Exactly.
But damn, unfortunate. So that means it's definitely a huge error that costed him the match because the momentum was 100% on his side. I feel like Doc shouldn't have even gotten that backlash and that down 3-4. It's a situation that shouldn't have happened.
Sandwich, I'm not going to... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I want you to know that for the most part, if you're not conditioning Doc to guard low, he won't.
Exactly.
And I think that even with your jab pressure, he was very comfortable just guarding your jabs. and I don't think you ever gave him a reason to protect his legs.
Yeah.
Why would he duck? You know, he's fighting Ganryu.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important for you to go low. And I'm not saying that you had to go for a big low like what you did here.
Yeah, down back 2 was if there was any low you should have done, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Because down forward 3, as bad as this range is, you want to always set your whole game plan should be around down forward 3 is your close range low, down 4 is your mid range low, and then down 2 is your far range low. And down 2 is kind of risky because it's a little seeable a little bit.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, 2-4. 2-4 is also really good, especially because you're using your jabs, your single jab a lot anyway, right? And he has 2-4, which is going to be high and then low, and that low is just like his down 4 where it's a counter hit launcher. So if you're doing 2-2-2 and then the next one's going to be 2-4 and the whoring presses, that's a counter hit that's going to happen because you can't interrupt that.
Yeah, I want to say, I wish I can go back. When I fought Doc on Brightest Lights, I made sure to annoy him, and I think that's another, like, again, you're fighting somebody who is a defensive player, period. And so, I would say Sandwich is also a very defensive player as well. So it's all going to come down to timing, and also it's going to come down to how brave you are with doing your own lows against your opponent.
So you said I was thinking about doing down back 2 because he was doing keep out jabs a lot. Fantastic point to make, but down 2 would have done the same and been less risk and more range. For
how close you were with all those blocked jabs, there was tons of opportunity for you to go for your quick low.
Absolutely. And even though that when it comes to something that's quote unquote reactable, right? The first things first is you have to make sure your opponent has to prove everything to you. That is what conditioning is to begin with. Like Doc needs to show you this is the stuff I'm going to react to, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, if there is something that you're like, if you're like, down 2 is a move they should be reacting because it's like 24 to 25 frames, right? Well, that's if you're looking for it, right?
Right.
And if you're making it so that they don't even have to look for it, what's the point? He's never even going to have to look for down 2. He knows to never expect it.
Hey, also, you don't know it's reactable until he shows you that it's reactable.
Yeah.
A lot of times, too, people are looking for quick lows and can't react to slow lows, and then also the other way around. Some people react to the super slow lows but can't react to the quick lows.
Oh, and that's another thing, especially if we're talking about, let's say you put someone in a scenario where, your plus frames, they know it, and they're going to block, right? Don't be afraid of doing something that's reactable when you can change the timing to disrupt their expectation of when that low is going to come out.
Absolutely. When I fought Doc with Zafina a while back, I abused him with down 3 with Zafina, which is a super slow low.
Yeah.
And he went to training mode and he practiced reacting to down 3.
Yeah.
All right. And so when I played him again, he was low parrying it, he was blocking it, and then I had to play with a different low.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then still keep that down 3 in there, but also had to go for faster lows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it's all like a timing thing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I play Miguel, a huge thing that I'm doing is masking my Savage down back 3, because Savage down back 3, if you look at it on a paper, that is a reactable low.
Yeah.
Right? People want to be like, oh, online, it's not. It's a reactable low, right, on paper, because it's in the frame data that most people can react to. But he has 2 other lows that throw off the timing of that like crazy. His generic down 4 and his Savage down 4.
Yeah.
Those both throw off the timing of it like crazy. It throws off your expectation of when to do the low parry or the high or the low crush or anything like that. And that's how he makes it so that if it's literally like you're paying attention to the Savage down back 3 over here, but then here's the other thing over here fucking you up,
Yeah.
And it's me as the Miguel player. I am literally abusing your reactions, even if they're good. You have to.
And not just the fast low and slow low, but also applying your fast mids and your slow mids into that game. You know what I'm saying? I think will really make for a difference. But timing, essentially, what it all comes down to is timing. In this match, I think Doc versus Sandwich, that would make the big difference in Sandwich getting some wins on the board.
It's kind of sucks too in a match like this. This is actually what you see the most when you're talking about timing, right? If someone has a huge advantage in the department of timing, of having the read of when you like to do things and how you like to do things, it's hard. It's like oppressive gameplay almost, right? Because Doc is basically choking him out, putting his back against the wall and choking him out, not giving him any options.
Yeah.
And that's optimal Tekken. Optimal Tekken is eliminating your opponent's options and making them feel as if I have no choice but to step here. I have no choice but to mash here. And the moment you think that is the moment you've been conditioned into doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. I also want to say one thing. Sandwich, I didn't see any throws so far in your game, and I know that Doc in general is a throw breaker, but I also think it's super important to toss them out just to wear your opponent down. Let them think about it a little bit, and also like to kind of reset the neutral. I think it's super important. Even if it's just a regular throw, you definitely want to use a lot more. You know, it would have saved you a lot. Like as you were approaching Horong, and let's say he's in like stance and going for a backlash, like you would have probably thrown him out of it instead of eating the backlash.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And also back to the since we're on the concept of timing, plus we were mentioning the lows, right? Another move I didn't see a lot of, and that's not just in this match. It was like in the whole set when we were watching on Tuesday. I want to see more down 1+2. That is his most powerful mid besides down forward 1. The reason being, its speed difference is a mix-up in itself, right? Because we're talking about timing. Its speed difference is going to be the difference between, because if your opponent's thinking, okay, I have to stop down, I have to guess between down forward 1 and down forward 3 at that range, right? And then they're going to do something like fuzzy or sidestep and then guard, and down 1+2's change of timing, it really messes with that.
Oh, yeah.
And it messes with their defense, and it messes with their rhythm.
Yeah.
Rhythm is the key, because rhythm's not something you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Rhythm's something you're feeling. And a lot of times people aren't aware of what they're feeling.
Yeah, agreed.
So, anyway, that was a lot of bullshit out of one round. Let's see if we can get out of this last round, and then we probably will wrap it up after that, boys. Assuming there's no more discussion to be had.
Yeah.
So he goes for the cheeky unblockable, gets launched for it.
That's what he gets.
Absolutely.
You know, when you're 4-0, this is when you start having fun.
When you're 4-0 and you go for the unblockable, that's when everyone in the chat has assumed you are the villain.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at him. He's playing with so much confidence.
So that was beautiful right there. He was before we were in the match before, we were seeing that Doc was spending a lot of time in right foot forward in order to set up the just frame Skyrocket whiff punishment, and now he's in a position where he's just doing it, right?
Just to let you know.
Yeah. And it's really important that even though he won and he's in the lead, he's still changing his play style.
Yeah.
That is a huge, huge thing to notice from anyone that's watching this right now. You don't want to let your opponent get used to anything, man. No matter how strong your life lead is, how advantaged you are in the terms of score, right? It doesn't matter. You always be changing everything you're doing. Change even if you just don't have another game plan, change the timing of how you do it, and now it might as well be another game plan.
Look at that wall carry.
That combo was really good too. Nice down for a back 1+2 pressure, because even in a situation like that, you forced a trade where you may have gotten counter hit launch, but he couldn't redeem anything afterwards, right?
Look at all these power crushes that get interrupted. Yeah, Doc's really abusing. He's just really setting the fear in there of backlash. Backlash is such a good way of making a comeback.
Yeah, forward 2 and down 2 are going to be huge. Really, I think the range 3 poking / zoning is going to be your biggest friend here, because the only time you want to be at range 0 in this matchup is when it's on your terms as Ganryu.
Yeah.
See, right here in this situation, I feel like, go back a little bit. Right here, that was perfect. Right here, you have the life lead, and you had 15 seconds to be a cheesy little bitch, and you didn't. You kind of like got passive. You got passive, and you let him play his game the way he wants. A lot of that situation was just straight up plus frames.
Yeah.
And him abusing it.
Yeah. In that situation, definitely, I would have had him come to you for sure and just played keep out. And you can do that pretty safely. You know, you had like a down forward 2, which has good range with follow-ups if you needed to. You had a lot of ways you could play that safely.
Yeah, down forward 1's a good keep out tool. Down 1+2, full crouch down forward 2, even though it's unsafe.
Oh no, we're wrong. Doc had the lead there.
No, Sandwich had the lead for a little bit. See, hold on. At 17 seconds, you see there was a decent enough lead. See, look, he could have maintained that.
Nah.
He could have maintained that,
bro.
He could have maintained
17 seconds and
so,
it's like
right now,
even?
10 seconds. 10 seconds. He could have, if he didn't get hit by that 4-4-4, 10 seconds to cheese him out.
No,
yes,
bro. 10 seconds in this game with that much life, it's anyone's game.
But the point that I'm making is that the need to make a decision is on Doc, not Sandwich. Sandwich can zone him out. I think in this situation,
Yeah, I saw there.
Ganryu's ability to zone Hwoarang out is going to be better than Hwoarang's ability to get in.
Agreed.
Should be.
Agreed.
Should be.
Hwoarang struggles with closing the gap, so it definitely would have been in Sandwich's favor to back up. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Even if he puts himself out the wall, because you have to play the risk versus reward. The only way he was going to come back is if he was getting some lows. The only way he was going to get some lows is if he got his back to the wall. Yeah. And you had time to move around before
the wall
you
was
got
close.
to the wall.
The wall was close, though.
It was close. It was close. But he would have had to do a lot more pressure to get him there, and the time was going to run out.
Yeah.
And when the time's running out like that, you know what's also going to happen is Doc's going to make a mistake.
You ever 10 seconds in this game is mad long, bro. It's so
10 seconds
scary.
is mad long. 10 seconds is mad long.
It's so scary, especially when you got rage art and all that, bro. It's just like, bro, 10 seconds been past, man.
How you guys memorize all these notations? A lot of them haven't changed for decades.
Yeah,
so that helps.
And that was a command throw right there. Yeah, to be honest, a lot of them haven't changed, and then also like, you should have been around for Tag 2 because Tag 2 had mad characters, bro, and like literally, if you wanted to be successful in that game, you had to learn a lot of matchups, man. So
yeah, for me, the way I do it is I look at every character has like, what are their top 10 moves I need to be block punishing / exploiting / wary of.
Yes.
Right.
Period. And that's kind of how you learn. I think in general, that should be like a general consensus. Before you even go into rank, or even if you use rank, it should be for that kind of knowledge. You're like, all right, I'm going in rank. I'm going to fight a random character I probably don't know anything about. What moves hit me? Yeah. Then you take those moves to the lab, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, I know this is punishable, and this is launch punishable, and I should step here or whatever. Like, I think that's how you learn how to play the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's actually an unfortunate result of how the game is kind of poorly designed, right? Because you, as a player, you're going to get hit by some shit, and you'll be like, what the fuck is that move?
Yeah.
What is even the notation of it? I got to go into training mode, go through the move list, go through all 100 moves. Oh, okay, it was down forward 3.
Yeah.
Now what? Now I get to know what this is, and now I'm going to have to remember what Zafina's down forward 3 is, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that us knowing that is actually a result of the game's flaws, to be honest with you. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about the design of Tekken. We're here to talk about how to play Tekken optimally.
Yeah. Come back, Real Dad. We miss you, bro.
Yo, definitely.
Come
Real
back,
Dad
Real
is
Dad.
Someone that, even though he said you don't know how to tell someone how to start, he had a phenomenal start. He was someone who just kind of jumped into it and fucking did the damn thing,
Yeah. No, I agree, and I like that he took a lot of characters under his belt.
Yeah.
He got a lot of skills. I really wish that he would buckle down with like one solid character and just like really believe in that character. But I feel like Real Dad's like a tier whore.
I was talking to him recently. He's gonna be back. I believe he hasn't been able to play Tekken Online with anybody, but he probably prefers it that way. So, but he'll be back. He said. Otherwise, let's finish up this match review. We got a couple more sets to go, a couple more rounds to go on this. I think we've taken so much. There's a lot to learn from it. Okay. Definitely. These were 2 really good matches you picked, in my opinion.
Get ready. Get dressed.
Damn. All that pressure was really hard to deal with. I actually don't blame you for any of it. But I love the way you got that whiff punish. The conditioning there was very good because Doc was just playing the risk versus reward. Staying down after that, when Ganryu does that setup, is always going to be advantageous because there's really not that much damage you're going to take for staying down.
Agreed.
The most you're going to take is him doing the belly slide, and that does like 20 damage. Whereas like if you stand up and if you're just autopiloting and you tech roll if you just randomly tech roll, like you're just tech rolling, you wake up into that unblockable. And that unblockable is going to be like 50 damage or something. And if it'll wall splat too. So
guys, I'll be right back.
Have no PC right now, looking for a new one. Hey, if you need help, just let me know. See that back turn feign weakness? Sick, dude. I've stroked you enough, Doc. I'm not stroking you anymore. I love the headbutt interruption. I think that's been the biggest thing is knowing when you're allowed to use headbutt to interrupt is huge, man. Huge. Because that's the thing is like even though we're talking about like we can talk all day about how risky it is, but then you also have to say, well, is the risk necessary? And then you also have to think, am I always going to get punished for it? Because that's the same thing you have to think about when you're like, oh man, this low is reactable. Well, is this player going to react to it? Are they going to react to it 100% of the time? Will you order from DoorDash? So many good questions, dude. So many good questions. Rough time to be in the market for a PC. Dude, tell me about it. Even CPUs, they just announced the new CPUs, and that shit's going to be ridiculously priced, dude. They're still selling old CPUs for like $350. What have they done to Sesame Street? God, Lord knows what they've done. You know what's crazy to me is, do you know who that is, Mason? That's the lead singer from Clipping, which is like a really weird, it's a really weird group, and it's so weird to see him in this like Sesame Street DoorDash ad. I forgot his name, but he's a rapper slash singer. I have an RX 580 and need to move. Ooh. All right, we're back. Thank you, DoorDash, for supporting the stream. Now we're back for a sandwich getting mollywopped. Just kidding. Oh, that would have been really good, but then it just wasn't because the timing wasn't there. But the decision-making was very good.
We're back.
So you get sit down for it. Welcome back, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Down forward one. All right, so that shit is really good. And it's something that I'm glad you noticed that it was something you could exploit too, the down forward 2-1-2 stuff, because even though like Doc was ducking the down forward 1-4-1, he was ducking that every time. Yep. But the down forward 2-1-2-1, he wasn't doing that. Right. So you knew that was something you could exploit. It makes it so that this unsafe launcher is now somewhat safe because they have to take the risk to duck.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the range that it has, it's kind of deceptive. And
absolutely.
And again, it was, you know, like if you learned his timing, it was damn.
Yeah.
That trade sucked.
That trade sucked, but like I was saying, it was really good decision making, bad timing.
Yeah.
That's all it really came down to at the end there. Because 4-4-1+2, you knew he was trying to step around you at the wall, which in Doc's position is always going to be a good thing. You step with them. If your opponent's stepping left to get away from the wall, you as the opponent step right to stay with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you had expected that, which he was doing, right? He was in right for forward doing that. And the 4-4-1+2 was going to catch him stepping. Or if he wasn't fast enough, it was going to catch a button. And you were right, but the timing was off. It just needed to be literally a frame earlier. And you would have floated him out of the air as opposed to trading.
Yeah. And then you know, your back was against the wall, and I think a really smart way that I think is super underrated with your back against the wall is to use one of your throws, knowing that it's going to get broken, to switch positioning. Again, we talked about this in episode 1 about positioning, but I feel like we're going to probably be talking about it every time we do an episode because it's so important, and at a high level, it's like critical.
Absolutely.
Your back against the wall here, you don't want your back here.
Yep. The only thing to be worried about is if they're prepared for something like that. Like Doc in that situation, yeah, he would have been prepared for that. Not just to break, because breaking it doesn't matter. Like he would have avoided it, whiff punished it, and just taken the game, right? Because he was at the perfect range to exploit something like that. He was trying to make something whiff.
Oh yeah.
And you picked the right move. 4-4-1+2 has good advancing range, it has good speed, and it has good hurt box. And if he was going to try to low crush you, which he tried to, you would have floated him. So everything about the decision was fantastic. It's literally just the timing.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. Do I have any advice for you on timing? I don't. That is a feeling thing. It's such a hard thing to explain.
Yeah. It's something that you learn throughout the set. You know what I'm saying? Like as you're fighting the opponent that you're fighting, in the first of 5 you can really learn someone's timing. And yes, obviously like at higher levels they change, but you can kind of get a good flow with how many jabs somebody will use before they go into a follow-up with like a low or a throw or whatever. Like those are the kind of things we're talking about. This throw here was a command throw, was really good, and he did that off of just a blocked one jab.
Yeah, and in that same situation, this is probably a situation that it has to have come up frequently, right? Which is your back's at the wall, Doc gives up his pressure to see what you're going to do, and then he goes back in.
Yeah.
So that's something where you're like, okay, I notice every time he gets the wall pressure, he does the back dash, goes into right foot forward, and then he reacts.
Yeah.
I need to be interrupting him before he does that.
Hey, that's a really good thing that you pointed out, is Doc is willing to give up the pressure, but not really. You know what I mean? So, like, it gives you a sense of relief. allows you to start moving forward, and then he kind of comes back to close that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really good. Sometimes what happens is you have your opponent's back against the wall, and we go on the offensive because we get greedy.
Yeah.
And people feed off the greed.
Absolutely.
And in this case, in that scenario, Doc wasn't greedy. He wanted you to feel like it was safe to come off of the wall, but to be honest, he was really still zoning.
Yes, absolutely. And Hwoarang is people call him a mix-up character. I think he's a fantastic zoning character.
Yeah.
His tools at like range 3, a lot of them are safe. His whiff punishment is, while risky, is amazing because you just have to make sure it's always like back 3 should never be blocked. Should always be hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whiff punish only tool. So a lot of people will complain like, oh, back 3 is launch punishable. It shouldn't be blocked. You know, like it should. You only use that move in the case that like I saw something whiff and I whiff punished it, and that's it. You know.
No doubt. Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
And this matchup's hard. I really hope I was able to help you with something because this matchup's hard, and this is a very, very hard player you were going up against. I think you did a lot of things right. I hope I was able to highlight that as well to you, not just pointing out the bad.
I don't know if Doc has ever been beaten on Brightest Lights.
No, he's undefeated. No, wait. Wasn't there a Philly player or something like that? There was an outsider.
No, he beat him.
He beat him? Was there? There was another outsider.
I think I'm the only person that beat Doc.
You're the outsider.
He played. But this was a few Brightest Lights before the Brightest Lights break.
Yeah.
I think he played. He ran Miguel on me.
The initial
and I ran
Brightest Lights
Zafina.
runs feel like a distant memory.
I know, doesn't it? It wasn't even that long. Yeah, but I think pretty much Doc will 5-0 most of the people that I think he's 5-0 probably most of the people.
If I'm gonna be real with you, there's like a big 3 in this region, big 4. The 4th one just doesn't really play anymore. But there's a big 4 in this region, and then there's everybody else. It would be Doc, the 2 Dannys, and Nick DeJesus. And it's not like I'm not trying to like stroke them. I'm not trying to say everybody else sucks. I'm just saying that that's where the big like gap is right now. And that could change at any moment.
Oh, Doc says we're not including somebody, Mills. And I agree. I think Mills is actually really strong. Mills,
which one? Oh, the Steve player?
The Steve player.
I know who you're talking about. That's the one Danny beat, right?
Yeah, Danny B I think disagrees, but I think it might just be like Danny's very comfortable with, that guy's play style, or Steve in general.
And Danny B's the one that Steve's like his most hated matchup, so it's impressive.
Oh
too.
Yeah.
I hate Steve. Fuck Steve.
Yeah. Actually, I do hate Steve for the Mishimas, but I enjoy Steve.
Steve's always
Zafina.
been like a natural counter to Mishimas. If the Mishimas ever had one, it's probably Steve.
I don't know.
I don't think they have one, to be honest.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Oh my God. You ever fought Lee? Oh God.
Yeah. Any 11 frame Magic 4 is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Lee. Like Julia's probably
and Ford. Yeah. Julia's always been an anti-Mishima character. We got a few out there. Yeah. Eddie. This is gross.
I hit up Christian tonight.
Yeah. You're gonna be doing that for a while, I think. I'll try to help you out with that, Doc. He's gonna avoid you as much as possible. But guys, thank you, man. I hope this helped. I think we kind of went over a little bit. But,
I hope it helped, and I had fun. So that's the big thing for me. We're going to try to get better and faster with everything. Really apologize for being late. For the people that were waiting patiently at 7 for us, I really apologize we were late. We're going to be getting better at this, making sure that there's not as many technical difficulties when we start out, making sure we're more prepared.
Yeah.
Always going to be leveling up the setup for you guys, making it better for us, making it better, more engaging for you, cleaner setups and stuff. So I really hope this went well. I hope it encourages more people to want to do viewer submitted matches. It was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys keep submitting stuff. I'm excited for next week already. Brightest Lights. Tomorrow is Iron Fist Friday.
Yep, tomorrow's Iron Fist Friday. And actually, if I saw correctly, there was a tweet where Ed said there's going to be an announcement before top 8. So make sure you guys are going to be there for that.
Definitely.
If you're not going to be there, keep an eye out on the Twitter for whatever announcements he's got.
Definitely.
He's always live at, I think, 7:30 or 8.
He's like around the 7:30 range. Yeah,
so around there, that's when the show starts, and then a little bit after they get right into the bracket.
Definitely.
Brackets move fast because they do 2 stream setups. They always make sure enough people are running off stream.
Hell yeah.
IFF's always a great show. Ed does. Brightest Lights every Tuesday.
We got V's
Oh,
on V
is that this
Stadium.
Sunday?
That's this Sunday.
V
Yeah.
Stadium this Sunday. That's a Pokemon style tournament that they're running. Pokemon style means that they have 2 teams with captains, and they're going to be doing like, I think they already did a draft phase, right?
Yeah,
So that's going to be a very good show for sure.
definitely.
What's the stream? Can we plug the stream, Mason? Can you put V stream in there?
I don't know what it is, but I know that one of you guys in the chat
I know
does.
one of you guys will have it. If you don't, I'm sure most of you guys that are in here are on the Boston Tekken page, and you'll probably find it in there.
For sure.
Speaking of Boston Tekken, if you guys are interested in uploading your own matches for review, same people can do it again if they really want to. Have no problem with that. But we'll also try our best to instead do new people if we can. If more people want to, there will be another Google Sheet uploaded to the Boston Tekken Facebook group, and then we'll just go from there.
Definitely.
We'll be back at it again next Thursday, and that's pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate everybody.
Shout outs to Mason. He's so quick with the clicks, bro. Look at him.
I know,
Boom.
you're staring.
Enter.
Click, 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 click.
There we go. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you guys and all the support, man. It's been a pleasure. This is episode 2, the Electric Digest. Your boy Dank, StillElectric, Mason. We out here. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
I know.